Hello gamers, this is David and welcome to the AORUS launch event. As you can see from the video, AORUS, the premium gaming brand of GIGABYTE, has been proudly innovating GPU cooling technology for over 15 years. With every new product release, it is our goal and commitment to provide exceptional performance and stability to your gaming experience. Today is no different, as you're about to see our latest max cover cooling technology on our newly launched graphics card will be the ultimate cooling solution for your next-gen gaming PC. So, sit tight and enjoy the exciting new features we're about to show you today. Team up and fight on!
So guys, today we're very excited to announce the brand new AORUS RTX 3080. These are the most powerful and the best cooled graphics cards that we've ever made. This new generation of gaming cards feature the max covered cooling technology. And to better introduce this technology to you guys, I would like to pass this to our special guest. Everyone, let's welcome Linus Tech Tips.
What's up everyone, Linus here from Linus Tech Tips, and if you're old like me, then you've seen a lot of architectural keynotes. I mean, can you believe the GTX 10 series came out 4 years ago? 16 nanometer process, GDDR5X memory. Jensen said the GTX 1080 would be faster than two 980s in SLI. How exciting was that? But then before we knew it, Turing was announced. Dedicated RT and tensor cores, programmable shading, real-time ray tracing was finally a reality. But they grow up so fast. Now, we're in the age of Ampere. 28 billion transistors, an 8 nanometer process, and 1.9 times the performance per watt of its predecessor. 1.9 times the performance per watt. And yet, that didn't stop them from adding more watts. I mean, here, just look at this one. It's a chunk. The GTX 1080 was 180 watts. The reference 3080, 320 watts. Which is why I'm here today to tell you how AORUS completely reimagined the cooling on their AORUS RTX 3080 compared to previous generations with a solution they're calling max covered cooling. I actually love it because it describes exactly what you're looking at. There's 3 fans covering the front of this card. So change number 1, the stack fan. On a traditional triple fan GPU, you've actually got little dead zones between the fans here with very little movement between them. So as you can imagine, the fins under there are not doing a ton of work, leading to diminished thermal efficiency. Well, the stack fan deletes dead zones by simply having the 3 fans overlap, with the 2 side fans brought up to the front and the middle fan holding down the rear. So they actually like spin over top of each other. Lower GPU temps from fans that are larger, slower, and quieter. Sweet. Number 2, the AORUS RTX 3080 achieves better heat dissipation than traditional multi-fan designs by eliminating air turbulence caused by the direction the fans spin. Side-by-side fans that spin the same direction can actually create oppositional airstreams that collide, weakening thermal efficiency. So AORUS's implementation seeks to use an alternately spinning middle fan that promotes smooth airflow with its neighbors and increases air pressure. It's like, I can kind of relate to that middle fan, you know? Spin in the opposite way. Middle fan, I get you. And number 3, the feature with the coolest name, Wind Claw. Wind Claw refers to a set of stationary blades that serve to channel the air from the active fans so that the heatsink is more uniformly and more completely cooled. Really neat stuff. But we all know there's more to cooling than just fans, which is why the AORUS RTX 3080 has a copper mounting plate with direct contact to both the GPU and VRAM for efficient heat transfer from the interior cores out to the heatsink via a vapor chamber. Now, if you haven't seen my video from 6 years ago, don't blame me, it was 6 years ago, the reason vapor chambers are awesome is that they have better heat transfer than solid blocks of metal, but greater surface area and dissipation than heat pipes. So then, after the vapor chamber, the fins on the AORUS 3080 heatsink have an angular design that helps get more air in and out of them. And they've got this extra extended heatsink that's exposed on both sides, letting the air actually pass right through. Very cool. And if that weren't enough, there's even an LCD edge view display on here for monitoring your GPU usage, temps, game FPS, heck, you can even put little custom text or GIFs on there. There's even a Tamagotchi style egg that hatches and levels up the more hours you put on your GPU. That's very, very extra. So thank you to AORUS for sponsoring this video. Check out their RTX 3080 with max covered fans, or their Gaming OC and Eagle OC cards with more conventional triple fan designs at the link down below. Which, wait a minute. I'm not even on the right YouTube channel right now. Why am I doing this?
So you heard it from Linus. These brand new generation of AORUS graphics cards feature a ton of improvements over our previous generation designs. However, I'm sure you're dying to find out how these new graphics cards will perform in real-world situations. So our team has prepared a ton of benchmarks as well as data to present to you. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at how these new graphics cards perform.
I'm sure this next part is the part that many of you have been waiting for. We're about to take a first look at the real-world performance of the brand new AORUS RTX 3080. However, before we begin, I just want to quickly tell you that these are preliminary performance numbers, including the GPU temperatures and fan speeds. Our teams are still fine-tuning the drivers, as well as the fan curves and speeds for these new cards, so you can expect to see performance and temperature improvements down the road. Make sure to follow us on our social media to get the latest information on those. Now, let's begin. Our first benchmark today is with GTA 5. This game launched back in 2015 and is an extremely popular open world action game. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this game title. Right now, you're seeing GTA 5 with a GTX 1080 Ti at 4K Ultra settings. Our average FPS is 37, which is not ideal for smooth gameplay. Jumping up to an RTX 2080 Ti, you can see a small bump in performance. Things are a little smoother with an average FPS of 42 under the same 4K Ultra settings. When jumping up to the brand new AORUS RTX 3080, you'll see a dramatic improvement in 4K gaming performance. This represents about a 26% improvement over the RTX 2080 Ti and a 43% increase over the previous GTX 1080 Ti. If you're looking to achieve the smoothest 4K gaming performance in GTA 5, the clear option is to go with the new AORUS RTX 3080. When running this benchmark, we saw temperatures ranging from 60 to 65 degrees Celsius. We'll put numbers on the screen for you to see right now. Let's jump to another popular open world game, Red Dead Redemption 2. This is a more recent title which launched at the end of 2019. Let's start off with the GTX 1080 Ti at 4K max settings. Average FPS is around 34, which is enough to provide smooth gameplay. Jumping up to the RTX 2080 Ti, we see a substantial performance improvement, but not quite 4K 60 just yet. Now let's move over and talk about the brand new AORUS RTX 3080. As you can see, we're seeing another significant improvement in our in-game FPS. So if you want to get the best possible 4K gaming experience in Red Dead Redemption 2, look no further than the AORUS RTX 3080. During this benchmark, we also saw a similar temperature range, peaking at 60 to 65 degrees Celsius. For the next benchmark, let's jump into Shadow of the Tomb Raider. The footage that you're seeing here is with the AORUS RTX 3080. We're running this at 4K with maximum settings, and right now you can see we're reaching over 100 FPS. This is a very impressive result that wasn't possible with previous generation graphics cards. These new cards deliver great gaming performance and deliver ultra smooth gameplay experiences. We've also ran performance tests on many other game titles. We'll put the data on screen for you to see now. At 4K resolution, it's no surprise that the AORUS RTX 3080 is the king of performance. If you're looking for high resolution gameplay, this is the card that you want in your system. At 1440p resolution, the AORUS RTX 3080 delivers great performance and will allow you to take full advantage of high refresh rate gaming monitors for that ultra smooth gaming experience. Lastly, let's take a look at the 1080p gaming performance. And no surprises here, our latest card handles 1080p gaming without breaking a sweat. As you can see, the AORUS RTX 3080 is a performance monster. This is one of the most powerful graphics cards that we've ever created. And don't forget that this is just the beginning, and we'll continue to keep fine-tuning the performance, temperatures, and noise levels. You can expect to see improvements as we have more time to tweak and optimize the card. Remember to follow us on social media for the latest updates on how far we can take the AORUS RTX 3080. Now that you've seen the performance of the new AORUS RTX 3080 graphics cards, let's quickly talk about what else is new from Gigabyte. If you plan to upgrade to the new graphics cards, you want to make sure that you have a high quality power supply that can meet the power requirements for this new generation. There's two new power supplies that we recommend: the Gigabyte P750GM and the P850GM. These are great options because these are both 80+ gold certified, feature a full modular design, high quality Japanese capacitors, and a 120mm smart fan. These are guaranteed to be compatible with the latest generation of Gigabyte and AORUS graphics cards. A new addition to the Gigabyte family is our new M series of gaming monitors. These are high-performance monitors with cutting-edge features such as super speed IPS and KVM. Let's take a quick look at the world's first KVM gaming monitor.
So as you guys can see, max coverage cooling technology is very impressive and it helps to bring a lot of new benefits onto the table. If you guys want to have the best cooling performance on our graphics cards, you're definitely going to want to take a look at the brand new AORUS RTX 30 series. Today, we announced a ton of new products, which includes the AORUS graphics cards, Gigabyte graphics cards, monitors, as well as power supplies. And if you want to find out more information about any of the products that we announced today, don't worry, because our team is going to be transitioning to a live Q&A session after this quick commercial break. So guys, stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Hello everyone. Today we're going to explain the key technology behind max covered cooling, the focus of our latest AORUS RTX 30 series graphics cards. The RTX 30 cards are energy-hungry beasts. Both the RTX 3080 and 3090 consume over 300 watts at their peak, which means more heat will be generated when handling your favorite AAA game titles or heavy load tasks such as 3D rendering. That's the reason why we focus on improving cooling for the AORUS RTX 30 series. After all, only with superior thermal management can you get the best performance out of your GPU. So let's jump into the max covered fan design. There are three major technological components. Number one, stacked fans. Number two, the wind claw. And number three, alternated spinning. The stacked fan is the most important feature under the max covered cooling system. On traditional graphics cards, there is a three-fan design. There's a space left between each fan called the dead zone. This part of the card receives little to no airflow, resulting in heat accumulation and affecting performance over time. The AORUS design team came up with a unique solution. To make it better, we made it bigger, creating the largest fans on a GPU ever. By enlarging the fan size and by stacking the outer fans over the middle one, we eliminated these dead zones, guaranteeing 100% airflow coverage over the entire heatsink. Next is the wind claw. It's a stationary fan blade under the left and right fans which channels more air around the fan to the heatsink, increasing both the airflow pressure and thermal efficiency. Lastly, alternated spinning is the tech that we've been using since the GTX 10 series. However, when three fans rotate in the same direction, there will be turbulence between each fan, which negatively causes heat dissipation. We've solved this by alternating the direction of the middle fan, thereby reducing turbulence and promising better heat dissipation. We hope you enjoyed our explainer video behind max covered cooling on our AORUS RTX 30 series graphics cards. If you want to learn more about how our cooling will affect benchmarks and performance, stay tuned for our AORUS RTX 30 series launch event on September 17th. Thanks for watching.
Hey everyone, this is Howard and Brian from the AORUS marketing team, and welcome to the AORUS RTX 30 Max Cover Cooling launch event. Wow, that is a mouthful. We're so glad to have you here with us today for the live Q&A portion of the event. We know that NVIDIA 30 series has been all the hype for the past month or so, or even longer perhaps, right?
Yeah.
And so we're here to answer your guys' question on AORUS and Gigabyte graphics cards. We have got a lot of questions submitted already, so we'll get to that in a moment. But before we get into that, I want to talk quickly about Gigabyte's history in graphics cards. We have always been an industry leader in graphics cards, and we continue that trend today. So starting with the GTX 400 series, for example, we introduced an awesome cooling design called WindForce 3X cooling design. And with our GTX 1080, we have introduced the industry first stacked fan cooling design. And with our latest generation RTX 2080 Ti, we combine not only the aesthetics, but we combine it into the cooling design to have something that offers the best of both worlds in terms of looks and performance. And today we're very proud to finally be able to introduce our newest cutting edge cooling technology called Max Cover Cooling, which is going to be a combination of different cooling technologies combined together. And this type of cooling technology is going to be found exclusively on AORUS 30 series graphics cards. We'll talk more about that in a short bit. Let's talk quickly about the launch stuff, because it is launch day today. We do have 2 Gigabyte cards available on the shelf today. We have the Gigabyte RTX Gaming OC, and we have the Gigabyte RTX Ego OC. Cards that are just right in front of us right here. And so the gaming OC is a household name, and this one is definitely something that you guys are probably very familiar with, as it's been available in the previous generations as well. And this is a very household name for us, and we think it's going to be a great mainstream card for most people. Now, the Ego OC is something that's going to be new, and we first introduced the Ego OC series this year on the 1650s, I believe. And we feel like the Ego OC is going to be a great card for value to performance. So very excited to have these available today. Since this is a global launch event, availability will kind of depend on the region. But here in the US, they are going to be available at Newegg, for example, B&H, Best Buy, Micro Center, Amazon, and then we have also in Canada, Canada Computers, and Memory Express. About the AORUS cards real quick, because I know we've been getting a lot of questions on when the AORUS cards will be available. Those are not released yet, unfortunately, but they will be coming very soon. We don't have the exact date to give you guys, unfortunately, but just keep an eye out for those. If you want more information on the AORUS RTX 30 series, be sure to check out the launch page that's in the description. We've been also getting a lot of comments on the giveaway, and that's going to be also available for you guys to see on the launch page. So I highly recommend you guys to go check it out. It is aorus.com/RTX30, and the sweepstakes will be can be found on the top right corner of that page. We're actually going to be giving away 9 30 series graphics cards.
Oh, 9 cards?
9
Dang.
cards. I wish we could sign up. We have 3 AORUS cards and 6 Gigabyte cards, 3 of the gaming OC and 3 of the Ego OC. So 9 lucky winners will be able to take that home through that giveaway. And other than the graphics cards, we also have some awesome AORUS goodies, peripherals, I think memory as well.
Yeah.
And
Power supply.
Power
those new
supply
graphic
as well.
cards.
Yes, totally. And so for the giveaway, we're going to be doing I believe it's a photo contest. In light of the theme of the max cover cooling, you have to take a picture of yourself with like wind blowing at your face and submit it. So good luck, everybody. We hope you check that out, and definitely keep an eye out for the AORUS cards as they'll be coming soon. Another thing is we're very excited to see what the RTX 30 series is bringing in terms of performance. In Van's segment just earlier, we saw some particularly big performance gains, especially in 1440p and also 4K gaming. So very excited to see how this would change the landscape of the gaming scene moving forward. Even in games that are very graphic intensive, like Red Dead Redemption 2, we're still able to see pretty sizable performance gains on that as well. So we're very excited to see how 4K gaming might become more normal from now on, especially given the fact that these cards are at a pretty affordable price point, I would say. So if you're ever thinking about upgrading from a 10 series or even a 20 series, now it's a good time. I would say.
Is now.
So Brian, how do you think the 30 series will affect the gaming landscape that we just talked about?
So I think with this generation of graphic cards, we have so much power available now. So we can run 1440p at higher refresh rates, and 4K 60 is attainable now at a relatively good price point. Before, getting 4K 60 FPS you would need 2 2080 Ti's, and now with the performance of the 3080, you can run that 4K 60, and the possibilities are endless. So high resolution, high refresh gaming is attainable at a fair price and a good price as well.
Totally, yeah. And here at Gigabyte, we also have a whole ecosystem of products available to suit those gaming needs. Not only do we have power supplies that will be able to support the new Ampere cards, we also have monitors coming out. Ones with SSIPS, for example,
the super speed IPS,
get you those high refresh rates and stuff like that,
and low response times as well.
And low response times too.
So usually IPS panels are slow, but now we're introducing super fast ones, comparable to TN panel speeds.
Yeah, so I'm super excited to
exciting.
see like what is to come for like ray tracing and also games moving forward. And of course, all this stuff can't be done with the power behind these cards. Of course, we had to add an awesome new cooling technology to these graphics cards. We do have a very special guest that's going to be joining us today. I can't picture a better person to break down the design and performance of the AORUS graphics card, which was what was used to benchmark all those games that you just saw just a few moments ago. So at this time, I would like to welcome everybody to the show, our marketing manager from Taiwan, Andy. Hey Andy, how's it going?
Hey,
How's it
Andy.
going?
It's going great. It's going great.
Going good. What time is it in Taiwan right now?
Let me check. 1:30 a.m.
Oh, AM. Ooh.
Well, thank you for
But I think it's fine.
yeah, thank you for
It's fine
joining us
because I'm
today,
still
making the
quite
sacrifice.
excited to see, we're gonna launch the RTX 30 series graphic cards. So it's okay though.
Thanks for taking the time to talk with us.
Yeah. So for the people in the audience, if you have questions now, we are getting more questions fed to us right as the moment. But Andy's the perfect person to ask because he works very closely with the PMs in HQ, and so he's the perfect person to kind of like pick his brain. So with that being said, Andy, the name of this event is Max Covered Cooling Launch Event. So before we dive into the performance and all the juicy stuff, I want you to talk about the design of the AORUS cards, and can you explain to the audience what max cover cooling is?
Yeah. Just based on the wording, mass cover cooling is some kind we just try to make the fan coverage to the maximum. So under fan max cover cooling, there will be three key technology: the stack fan, alternate spinning, and also the wind cloud. The stack fan is the thing we have used since GTX 10 series. Basically, we just try to eliminate the airflow dead zone and increase the thermal efficiency. For alternate spinning, it's kind of great transition of the Gigabyte we use from GTX 10 series as well. Try to change the way of the middle fan direction, spinning direction. Try to delay the turbulence between the fans. And wind cloud is something brand new on the RTX 30 series. It's the stationary fan blade beneath the fan, and it could increase the air pressure because it could channel the airflow into the heatsink. So that will be all about mass cover cooling.
And we're getting a lot of questions, Andy, on what the difference is between the cooling design on, for example, 10 series, 20 series versus 30 series. Can you elaborate more on, for example, the difference between the stack fans? Because I think both the 20 series and 30 series have stack fans.
The 10 series also.
10 series too. So what's the difference there? How much more coverage are we talking about for the 30 series?
Yeah, I think we can explain it from why we deliver the stack fan, because on traditional 3-fan design on the graphic card, there's some space between the fans which can be blown, so the thermal efficiency will be weakened. So on the GTX 10 series, we have come up the stack fan, but even though we try to make the fan stacked, but it still can 100% cover to the whole heatsink. So on the RTX 30 series, we just redesign the fan edge, try to make the angle more greater, so it will be more staked perfectly, and the heatsink beneath the fan could be 100% blown by the airflow, and that's the reason why we come on slogan max cover cooling.
I see. And with that max cover cooling, would you say 30 series cards would run quieter than previous generations and stuff like that?
Should be, yeah. But as we stated in the video for the AORUS version, because we have quite limited time to tune the driver, fan speed, fan curve, and also the GPU clock. So our R&D team still fine-tuning these things, and we hope you guys, the audience, you will get the best performance things with the optimal noise level once it's available in the market.
Another question that I noticed we've been getting a lot is the difference between the AORUS Extreme and the AORUS Master. So those are new models that we're going to be introducing. So I guess that's why the audience is asking more about those. Because they know the gaming OC, they know the Eco OC, right?
They know the Extreme as well, but the Master is something new that we added.
So can you kind of tell us who the AORUS Extreme is for and who the AORUS Master is for example?
I think AORUS is the premium brand, so all the product under AORUS brand was built for the enthusiasts or the most hardcore gamers. And yeah, I saw a lot of people asking about Master. Basically, we just try to sync the segment of the product model with our motherboard. If you take a look at our AORUS motherboard, we also got Extreme and also the Master. So let's jump back to the graphic. So what's the difference between the AORUS RTX 3080 Extreme and also the Master version? I gotta say that the difference is quite, just a little difference on that. For example, on Extreme, we will put everything to the maximum, like we will use the maximum size of the vapor chamber, which is directly contact with the graphic to increase the thermal efficiency, but you won't see it on the Master. So this is the only little difference from the Extreme and Master. But both of these models share some quite unique features, like the mass cover cooling and also the LCD edge view, which you can see a lot of useful GPU info from the side LCD panel.
Okay, so I noticed that you mentioned that there's a vapor chamber plate. Does that cool the GPU only, or is it cooling everything on the card?
You can tell from the size is that the vapor chamber, the size of the vapor chamber on AORUS RTX 3080 is quite big, so it could cover not just the GPU die itself, but also the VRAM and also either the power circuit, or let's put it in this way: the hottest part of the graphic card will covered by vapor chamber.
Okay, so that's good to hear. So all the hot parts would be cooled with a vapor chamber.
Exactly.
Okay. So what's the advantage of a vapor chamber over a regular copper base plate, for example?
I think Linus has explained about vapor chamber before. It's not something really, because there's the space inside, so there's liquid inside, which is quite easily boiled. So the heat conduction, heat transfer rate is much higher than the typical copper plate. So which means the heat conduction and thermal efficiency will be much better compared to the copper plate.
I see. And Andy, another question we've been getting is on kind of the design of the fans for the 30 series. Some of their audience noted that it's different this time around from what we had on the 2080, for example, the halo rings. Can you kind of explain to us, the kind of the decision process and this new cooler design that we have?
I got it. Yeah, because we got a lot of similar feedback from no matter the group inside the company or the group outside the company.
Right.
I gotta say it's a difficult decision, but Ampere, the RTX graphic is such an energy beast. As you can see in the launch event video, the TGP of the RTX 3080 is 320 watts, and TGP of the 3090 will be 350 watts. And actually, according to our R&D test right now, it could consume over 400 or even 450 watts actually. So it's an energy based, of course, and it's really hot. So we just see that if we just remove the RGB rings from the fan, the thermal efficiency will be better. Right. So after a kind of long debate about taking it out or not, we just decided to, hey, we still need to help you guys to drive out the best performance of the RTX graphics. So that's the reason why we choose to use the stack fan in large fan size, and yeah, that's why it goes.
Yeah, and Andy, I noticed that these cards are, they are a little longer than the previous generation. Also thicker too. So I was gonna say, like, my first guess would have been that when you guys vertically mount it, it might not, be able to fit on all the cases now.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the previous one was sometimes it was a tight fit on some, especially some of the MATX cases that we have. So was that also part of maybe the reason why, I suppose?
Yeah. So it looks like we focus a lot on cooling this time around, right?
Yeah.
Cooling. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all about cooling. As you can see,
Okay.
we all on all the Gigabyte and AORUS graphic card, we feature the screen cooling technology.
Yeah.
Actually, it's just we have enlarged the length, the size of the heatsink over the type-code PCB, and we have additional hole on the cover to let airflow go across the heatsink. So that's the reason why it becomes longer and a little bit thicker. But on Eagle and Gaming OC, I think the slot it takes is still acceptable, about 2.7 slot. So if you want to put it in some kinds of mid-range case, I think it still works.
Okay. And then how about, do you have an AORUS card over there? Like how thick are the AORUS cards compared to the Gigabyte cards?
It looks like you have one right there in front of you.
Yeah, I have one just right here.
So
this is the AORUS RTX 3080 Extreme.
Right.
The slot of it is around 3.5.
Can you give us a slot size?
Can you kind of, let's hold it up real quick.
Yeah, let's hold it up like this. Oh, that's a big boy right there.
That's a big boy, yeah.
But
Super
I gotta
thick.
say, it's all about cooling, because we want, because just like Jensen said in the keynote, the performance of the RTX 30 series is really astonishing, and we just want to make sure that when you are playing your favorite 4K game or doing 3D rendering, nothing will be crashed, nothing will be harmed. So that's the reason why, we designed this a little bit bigger boy.
Bigger boy.
Yeah.
Brian, do you want to talk about WindClaw real quick?
Yeah, Andy, we saw that there was the WindClaw feature that you talked about briefly, but can you detail us more about that?
Oh yes, of course. Whenever the fan is spinning, then airflow will be generated, and airflow will be blown to the heatsink to bring the heat away. But we found that when the fan is spinning, there's some floating air around the fan, which is useless. So we just try to think about, hey, is there any other way we can guide this floating airflow to the heatsink? Then more airflow will be blown to the heatsink and more heat will be blown away. So that's the reason why we designed the WindClaw. So actually, it's kind of traditional, classical fan design in some other industry. For example, like the electric fan that you use daily in your home. But actually, nobody has think about to putting it in the graphic card before, and because we just think about how we gonna utilize the floating air around the fan, also increase the air pressure. So our R&D team had come up the WindClaw.
Dang, that's cool.
That's why WindClaw.
Awesome. So it helps increase the airflow and the static pressure of the fans.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So that should help push it through that thick heatsink.
Try to make the airflow more unified, more condensed.
Yeah, more like
just like you can just take a look at the electric fan in your home. If you just take out the front cover, you will find the airflow is become a little bit mess. Yeah.
Okay.
We got a question here asking about the airflow that's getting pushed out of the card.
Yeah.
So we do have something called screen cooling on all the 30 series cards. You can see it right here in the back. There's a little extra opening right here.
Yeah,
where the air,
similar to the Founders Edition.
It's very similar to the Founders Edition where the air will actually get pushed this way.
Yeah, it'll flow past through the card.
Yeah, so we got a question actually asking, they said they noticed the air can go out from the rear of the card, which I'm not sure if they're referring to the rear as in right here.
Yeah, probably.
But Andy, can you kind of talk about first of all what screen cooling is before we get to the airflow portions and how it will affect or how it might affect airflow in the system?
Yeah.
You mean the screen cooling?
Screen cooling, yeah.
Screen cooling.
Okay. Screen cooling basically just under screen cooling basically is just enlarge the heatsink over the PCB. So actually, you can see right in this part. Right in this part, there's no PCB on. So whenever you deploy several fans, maybe 12 or 10 centimeters fan in your case.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you put the graphic card like this, the airflow will be sucked in and go through the graphic card and brings more heat from the heatsink. That's the reason why screen cooling exists, and this kind of the new cooling technology that has been widely used by others, including NVIDIA.
But since the airflow seems to, it seems to go up, right? If you're mounting it in the system, right? What's above the graphic card would be the processor, for
CPU
example,
cooler, usually,
right? Or the CPU cooler. Would the airflow that's blown up affect the thermals on the CPU at all?
I don't think. Yeah, I saw some people has concern about it, but I don't think it will be a big issue because, for now, if you want to pair these monster bits, you need to have something powerful as well. I mean, for the CPU, like for like 9900K or 10900K, or like the AMD like 3950X or 3700X or above. So usually you will have huge cooler or even AIO or even water cooling for that. So I think it won't be a big concern.
How about how would you say like mini ITX case lovers would should build around the 30 series graphics cards in that case? Mini ITX, I would imagine for most cases, we recommend a nice ATX case with good airflow with this series. I know it's, a lot of the mini ITX cases are very unique and different, so the orientation might, be not the best for 30 series cards, but I guess it's more of a case on case or case by case scenario there. So what's your kind of take on that one, on the type of PC case suitable for 30, the best suitable ones for 30 series?
My personal suggestion is that currently, I mean, for 3080 or 3090, if you want to have the best performance of these two graphics, you really need to choose some huger case, not just because of its huger, I mean the graphic card itself. Also, you always need some kinds of standard size of the power supply, because just like NVIDIA suggests that if you want to go for the RTX 3080, you need to have the power supply that could supply at least 750 watt. And for my personal suggestion, 850 will be safer. So there's no chance you can choose the SFX standard one.
Right.
So my suggestion is that if you want to embrace the 4K gaming at 60 Hz or even higher, go for some huger case.
So on the topic of power and heat and TDP and stuff, what is the new max covered cooling card rated for in terms of cooling performance?
That's a really good question. Just like what we stated in the video, that we are still fine-tuning the clock, fan speed, and also the fan curve. So currently, I don't have exact answer for that, but our R&D team has come up several feasible BIOS, which may be applied in the mass production graphic card. And now I have seen some amazing digit like 450. So I guess the max cover cooling can handle at least 450 watt and even higher. So I will keep you guys up to date. Yep.
So that's an extra 100 like 30 watts headroom over the for the 3080. Okay.
Exactly. And I assume it will be higher.
Yeah. Dang, that's good to hear. So so that's really nice to see. Do you know about the gaming OC or the Eco OC and the cooling capacity of those cards?
Oh yes. Let me start from the gaming OC, because in the RTX 30 series, it's become a little bit different. First, that it supports dual BIOS mode right now, so you can choose between like silent BIOS or the again mode. So it depends on which one you like. And second is that we use the brand new graphene nano lubricant, so which increase the endurance of the fan to up to maybe 2.1 times. So which makes it more durable. And also the most important of all is the fan size, because the diameter of the fan size on the gaming OC before, I mean on RTX 20 series, is about 8 centimeters. But now on the RTX 30 series gaming OC, the diameter of the fan has been increased to 9 centimeters.
Okay.
So now you got two 9 centimeters fan and also one 8 centimeters fan. So the thermal efficiency will be better.
Okay. So on the topic of power still, we saw that NVIDIA introduced a new 12-pin power connector.
Yep.
Is that something we have to worry about for the Gigabyte and Aorus cards?
For whole lineup of the Gigabyte and Aorus graphic card, we don't need to worry about the 12-pin stuff because we have been redesigned using the typical 8-pin on both the Gigabyte and Aorus graphic cards. So you can just stick to your original power supply if it's powerful enough. And because we know some people may have some difficulty on getting one 12-pin connector, I mean adapter. So that's the reason why we stick to the typical 8-pin design.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. We've been getting a lot of questions on, you know, whether we're going to be using the 12-pin
exactly.
connector. So that's
So would the two 8-pin be enough power for the graphic card, for example? Because we know that the 12-pin was introduced because they need more power.
For Gigabyte, for Gaming OC and Eagle, there will be two 8-pin. But for Aorus, there are triple 8-pin because just like I told you that the watt of the max cover cooling module could handle has exceed over 450 watt, and the typical 8-pin, one typical 8-pin connector could provide up to 150 watts. So you just do some real quick calculation, then you will realize that dual 8-pin won't be enough. So that's the reason why we changed the design. I know some of our fans has watched our Aorus graphic card in the first time that we revealed photos or video. And yes, there's a dual 8-pin on the graphic card before, but we just redesigned it to try to boost out the maximum performance of the RTX 30 series.
So 3 8-pin. So that means the card we can supply up to 450 watts of power for the Aorus card, huh?
150 by 3 and additional 75 watt by PCI Express. So
500.
Yeah, you can do some quick math on that.
Oh, that's crazy.
So so the sky's the limit on that card, huh?
Hey Andy, real quick on the on Aorus graphics cards, they are going to be thicker and bigger. Some of the audience here have concerns on the weight of the card once it's put into the system. Have you seen anything with like GPU sag, or would we include some kind of like brace or bracket with the packaging?
Okay, the total weight will be 1.7 kilo, so not heavy actually, not as heavy as it looks. And second, about bending, the concern about bending, you can just take a look at. We have a very strong base plate and it is bending resistance. So there's no worry about when you put it into your case, there will be bending happen. I know some of guys may have concern about that. So I think I need to explain that.
I mean, we all saw how thick it was, right?
Yeah,
like
4 slots.
Almost 4 slots for one card.
That was concerning, but it's good to hear that the base plate's even stronger now.
Yeah, the base plate is even stronger.
Okay, so it's a lot more rigid this time around and gives structural stability.
I would say even the Gigabyte cards are solid, like very build quality wise. They seem very heavy and sturdy.
They're a lot thicker and it almost feels like it's steel, like metal now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to just bend it, but you can't do anything.
It's structurally sound.
Exactly. I think the Ego OC has the metal one too. Now, not just the gaming OC. That's good.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know, as you see, the RTX 30 series cards are getting longer, so it's necessary to make the backplate stronger. And as the one we use on the Aorus graphic card, thickness is around 0.4 centimeters, and it's 4 cotton, so which is quite strong. So there's no need to worry about bending or just falling from your case.
Okay. Well, I know there's been a lot of questions on performance. We'll get to that very shortly. I want to wrap up the design aspect of the segment We still have to cover a few things. For example, I noticed the AORUS cards, they do have an LCD screen like right here-ish.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about the LCD screen and what it does?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, it could display the information you may interested about, like all the information about GPU, like temperature usage, GPU clock, GPU usage, memory usage. So these are all the things you may notice. You may want to notice when you play the games or doing 3D rendering.
Right.
Also, this display supports the customization information displayed, so you can put your favorite text, no matter what's the language you're using right now, Chinese, English, French, no matter what kind of language you're using, it could support for sure. And you could also input your favorite picture, which is in the format of the JPEG. And even you can input the GIF, the little animation to that, so you can fully customize it. And to your surprise, we also design a little chippy, a little falcon that could react with your usage.
Right.
At first, when you boot on, it's just an egg, and as the time you use your graphic card longer, then you will be born. The little falcon will be up and sleep, eating, and getting bigger, bigger, bigger.
So like a little
something that you can play
Tamagotchi
with.
then, huh?
Yeah, the class A. Yeah,
Something you can play with.
Yeah, like a little pet that plays with, that you can grow
Yeah,
with.
exactly.
So Andy, all that is absolutely great, but how do I like change the settings? Like which app would I use?
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
You can use the current RGB Fusion because we have all integrated setting into one software. So you can just open the RGB Fusion software and everything will be set.
Okay, that's very cool. So like under the graphic card menu now, there'll be all those new options available. Oh, that's really cool.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And the LCD screen is only going to be on AORUS cards, right? Not Gigabyte 30 series?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, got it.
But for whole AORUS lineup, we will support the LCD display.
I see. Very cool. And then I think we talked a lot about AORUS, but I want to quickly talk about the Gigabyte cards, which are available for sale as of today. We brushed earlier very quickly on like gaming OC and Ego OC, but I didn't really talk about like the difference of it. I would say for starters, number one, I think the gaming OC does have the our standard 4-year warranty. We're getting some questions on warranty as well. You do need to register online for that one. And I noticed that Ego OC didn't have the same warranty coverage, for example. Otherwise, like if you look at the boost clocks, Ego OC is at about 1755, I believe, and Ego OC is at 1755. Gaming OC is at about 1800. Other than that, like, what are the differences you say between these two graphics cards, and who would buy the Ego OC and who would buy the gaming OC?
Yeah.
Okay, for gaming OC, because just like you said, the GPU clock is higher, and also we have some other functions like dual BIOS support. So for gaming OC, we think if you are looking for the card like RTX 3080 that could perfectly drive your favorite AAA game title with the 4K 60Hz setting, and also with the ultra graphic setting, you can just choose the gaming OC. Yeah. And for those who just want to jump from the 1080 Ti to the RTX 30 series, but still have some concern about the budget, Ego will be something they can choose for.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, and I guess that covers all about the design that we have today. Earlier, before we started, actually, one of the first questions we got, Andy, was that, are we going to make water force or water-cooled graphics cards? We've done so for the past few generations. Can the audience expect something like that on the 30 series as well?
I think the answer is yes, because AORUS is the only premium gaming brand in the market that so focused on the water cooling solution. So like the one you see on the RTX 20 series, we even provide 2 different products focused on the water cooling. One is the AIO, another one is the open loop. Yeah. And we will do the same thing on the RTX 30 series, but as you know, actually the GPU supply now is not that sufficient. So we will postpone the water cooling product a little bit later, but for sure we will have these two products. I mean, the AIO and also the open loop available in the market. And if you ask me about available date, my personal guess will be the end of October or the mid of November, but I don't have exact answer for that still, and I think I will keep you guys posted about that. But for sure, we will have the water cooling product for the RTX 3080 for sure. I think this is important because they're really hot, they're really energy based,
Right.
and if you choose the water cooling product from us, there are two advantages. The first is that we can guarantee 100% match compatible between the water block and the graphic card, because of course we design the whole things including the water block, so we can guarantee you will get the best. I mean, the 100% contact between the water block to the GPU.
Right.
And second is that you don't need to worry about the breaking of the warranty, because whenever you go for some third-party water blocking, you need to disassemble the thermal module first, and it may have chance to break the warranty. But if you just choose the water cooling solution from AORUS, no need to worry about that.
And would you say, I know you can't tell us exact dimensions and stuff, but since it is a water block, I would assume it's more efficient.
Yeah, it
for
should
the
be a
thermal
lot thinner
dissipation.
as well,
So
right?
would it be possibly a bit thinner than like an Eagle OC, or very similar?
Thinner than Eagle OC for sure.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
sure,
because
right?
it's water cooled.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, for sure. That's for
Okay.
sure.
And we have another question here. We have a lot of mini form factor enthusiasts in the chat today. They're asking if we had any plans to produce cards that
Are two slot
or thinner. Yeah,
So that would be probably our water cooled card.
it will probably have to be a water cooled card.
Probably
at that
water
point.
cooled.
Yeah.
We have additional one product, but that's for commercial or the server grade things. Yeah, so I guess if you want to have something that thinner than two slots, water blocking, or just go for the Eagle, should be acceptable.
And then we also have some PC modding enthusiasts here with us today. We have someone asking, will there be a generic model to use with an aftermarket water block, for example?
So basically a reference design.
Right.
You mean do we have plan to come up some just water blocking module to feed other AIB?
Would we have a graphic card that uses a reference PCB, for example, to use with a third-party water block?
Currently, we don't have plan for that. Yeah, because just like you saw, we've already planned two water cooling product. So basically, we will just try to finish this two product yet. And about the compatibility to use the third-party water blocking, I think we need to still discuss it internally.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about any plans for a mini ITX 30 series, for example?
For
be
3080,
interesting.
3090, I assume there will be little chance for that because it's too hot for sure,
Right.
and too powerful for sure. But for something below, there's chance, I gotta say. But currently, I cannot talk too much about that.
Okay, no worries.
I have an idea of what it could be, but
No worries. And you mentioned that it runs hot a lot, but in a lot of the thermal tests that we've done, or that we just showed, these cards run decently cool actually.
Yeah, we were surprised to see
given the
that.
amount of power that they draw, they run pretty cool.
Yeah.
All things considered.
Yeah, we can see the focus on our cooling design.
Yeah, that's
really
the thing
helped.
surprised me
Right.
at first, because whenever I saw the power consumption, I said, "Whoa, it must be quite hot." But whenever we just take a look at the temperature when running those AAA game titles or doing the 3D rendering, actually it performs not bad. Just like when our testing played the RDR2, the temperature ranges from 60 to 65 Celsius, so which is
Yeah, perfectly
great.
acceptable.
Yeah.
If anything, that's a great cooling.
Solid.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
solid. Definitely. I guess we can talk more about performance now, since we're kind of getting less questions on the design of the cards now and the roadmap and timeline, stuff like that. But just to wrap that part up, the 3080 gaming OC and EUOC are released now. AORUS cards, we don't have a definite date yet, but definitely keep an eye out for those. They'll be coming very soon, as well as...
Oh, what about Waterforce cards? Hey, Andy, when do you expect those to be out? Hopefully this year?
So I just come up my personal guess
Yeah.
because currently I don't have exact answer for that.
Mm-hmm.
For the air cooling, RTX 3080 like Extreme or Master, my personal guess will be around the beginning of the October, maybe. And
Okay.
for water blocking, water cooling stuff, it will be a little later, maybe 1 month later, 1 month later than the air cooling product. Yeah.
Okay.
That's just my personal guess.
Okay, so we're shooting around Thanksgiving holiday season, huh?
Maybe.
Perfect time.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Perfect timing.
And then we also get a lot of questions before we go to performance on the dimensions of the AORUS cards. Can you kind of give us an update on that? Are they going to be wider? We know they're thicker, but are they going to be longer than the Gigabyte cards?
Yeah. Do you have any dimension specs wise, or like the length, width, height? A lot of people are curious about that.
Actually, it shares quite similar length to the Gigabyte like Gaming OC or the Eagle, because we just use the stack fan design. The stack fan means that 3 fans will get more close to each other, so the total length will be decreased. So actually, AORUS card shares the similar length to the Gaming OC, also the Eagle, but it got huger fans, 11.5 centimeters in diameter. That's the hugest fan you can see in the market right now.
Yeah, so we would have the largest fan in the market for a graphic card then.
Yes, 11.5
that's awesome.
centimeters in diameter.
Yeah, almost a case fan size, which would be 12 centimeters.
Yeah, exactly.
Or 120 millimeters.
And just really quick,
thanks to the stack design, we can just shrink it to the similar length as the Gaming OC and the Eagle.
Right. And just real quick, update on the card size. It is our Gaming OC is going to be 320 millimeters, which equates to about, I believe it's like 12.5 inches long. So the AORUS cards will be very similar to approximately around that length, basically.
A lot of the information can also be found on our product pages. Core clocks is updated on there as well.
For the Gigabyte cards, yes.
For the Gigabyte cards, yes. The AORUS cards are still getting fine-tuned, and we're trying to squeeze out the max performance out of these guys.
Yes.
So all the numbers are still preliminary. It can only get better from here. So it's pretty exciting.
Because we have quite limited time of fine-tuning the drivers, so please give us some time, and we will deliver something best to all of you guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, let's talk about performance now. In the benchmarks earlier that we saw, of course, the 30 series is going to do well in 1080p. We all know that.
Yeah.
But what's your take on the the difference that we see in 1440p and also in 4K gaming?
I think what you can expect on the 30 series will be, for 4K, you can have at least 60 Hz with the ultra setting. I think that's kind of playable standard for most of the people. And for Quad HD, now you could expect something higher, like over 120 or 144. So if you are a first-person shooting game lover, then you can choose the Quad HD as your daily resolution. But if you would like to see more beautiful scene from the game, like the Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, or maybe the Witcher 3, you can go for the 4K. Yeah.
Okay, that's very cool. Yeah, I'm really excited to see also, how 30 series will handle ray traced games as well.
Yeah.
Because before, right? I mean, ray tracing was kind of a new thing with the 20 series, and now we're seeing more and more titles that support our design around ray tracing. So, where do you see the performance gains in ray traced games and stuff like that?
I think that's the most amazing part, because there's second generation of the RT core inside, and most important of all, the overall performance has been increased. So now you can have the game being ray traced under 4K, but with the frame rate over 60. For example, we have tested the game Control under the ray tracing with the DLSS on. Actually, we could reach the frame per second around 60 to 65, so which is playable, really gorgeous. So I think nowadays people could, more enthusiastically to find those ray trace games and have these games being driven by the RTX 3080 or 3090, and they will know how beautiful, how capable it is.
Yeah.
And how about, can you kind of speak on the generational difference then between like a 2080 Ti, for example, versus a 3080 in those type of games? Like what kind of performance boost are we really talking about here at the end of the day?
I think we're talking about, for example, like Control. Whenever you want to play it with ray traced on RTX 2080 Ti, the average FPS should be around 40 to 45, I think, which still a little bit, there's some gap between the playable standard.
Right.
But whenever you go for the RTX 3080, I think 4K 60 is just the basic. So I think it's
so 4K 60 is just easy now.
On RTX 30 series.
So it's kind of like the new standard of things. And there are a lot of 4K 60 monitors out there too. At an affordable price. So
So does that mean Flight Simulator we can run at 4K 60? That's a big title that...
that's really a big title.
Yeah.
For Flight Simulator, what we observe from right now, there's still a little gap to the 4K 60, but the overall performance is much better than RTX 2080 Ti.
Right. And would you say like would your CPU choice, for example, bottleneck the graphic card performance? Or for example, if you're using like an older generation motherboard or older CPU, but you get a completely new card and you just stick it into your system or swap it into your system, would that be a bottleneck at all? For
so a lot of questions is,
yeah,
would PCI 4.0 be worth it, or PCI 3.0 is you'll get similar performance still?
Yeah.
Okay, internally we have done these tests on both Intel and AMD platform. For AMD, if you have the processor more powerful than the 3600X, I think it should be fine. We observe some FPS decrease when using the CPU like the 3600X, but that's just the baseline. So if you have the 3700X, 3800X, or 3900X, or even the 3950X, it's totally fine.
Okay.
And for Intel, internally we only use CPU for testing for now, and for sure we will add more CPU into the test list. We use the 9900K and also 10900K for testing. So far, we didn't see any bottleneck even on the 9900K. Yeah.
Okay.
And about the motherboard choose, currently we only do the test on the X570, B550, Z490, and
Z390.
Just the three.
Okay.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So there wasn't too much of a
we
gap
can
then.
just enlarge the test list in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
So were you guys able to test PCI 4.0 and 3.0 in these as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like because we have done the performance test both on AMD platform X570 and also on the Z490. Actually, we don't see the performance difference between the PCI 3.0 or PCI 4.0.
Okay.
But we think the things will be changed if the RTX IO, I mean the things that the NVIDIA has proposed to a technique that to bypass the CPU to have the GPU directly contact with the PCI storage, and Microsoft is now coming up the direct storage API.
Yeah,
but when the time that direct storage API came up, it will be really interesting.
Okay.
Yeah,
so that's
we'll
when
see.
the PCI 4.0 will come to play.
But for currently, we don't see much different. We don't see much huge performance difference between the PCIe 3.0 and the PCIe 4.0.
Okay, well that's good to hear, because most people still have PCI 3.0. A lot of people are 4.0, but it doesn't matter too much which one you choose.
Yeah, but just like what I said,
Okay.
when the Microsoft has finished the
for now,
storage
then,
build up, it will be interesting. I don't have
Okay.
assumption for that,
Yeah.
at least for now.
Yeah, it's a
But we'll
pretty
see.
exciting technology that a graphic card can take advantage of NVMe storage.
Yeah.
So that's pretty
basically
cool.
just try to
It
reduce
should
the
help games a lot.
communication between the CPU and the storage, and try to have the GPU do the communication with the PCIe storage directly. So the PCIe storage speed will be matters, if that's so.
Okay, that's exciting to see.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I think that's about sums it up. I say this generation, the performance gains are substantial overall for the 30 series. In terms of compatibility, it seems like for the most part, you're not going to get any drops or bottlenecks regardless of the hardware you have. So we still recommend users, of course, if you're using something that's 5-6 years old, might be time to upgrade.
Time to upgrade.
Especially, but the thing to look out for the most would definitely be making sure your power supply would be able to support the Ampere cards. I do have a Gigabyte power supply right here. We do have 850, 750, and all the way down to of the stack as well available today. So be sure to check those out too as well. Thank you, Andy, so much for talking about max cover cooling. I think this is something that's, we saw the temperature tests, and it's really impressive what the temperatures we're able to
for
achieve.
That many watts,
for
we
that
were
many
able to
watts
achieve like 60, around the 60 range of temperatures. That's really good to hear.
It's even not a finalized one, so.
Oh, and it can only get better.
It can only get better.
It's only getting better.
Even not finalized. Yeah.
Okay. That's really good to hear.
That's really awesome to hear. Max cover cooling has the alternate spinning, the wind claw, and also the max coverage fans, basically.
So pretty much, no dead zones and just full cooling.
And then lastly, I want to do another quick shout out for our giveaway that we're going to be doing. So we are going to be choosing 9 lucky winners to take home a 30 series graphic card as part of our launch event. We're giving away 3 AORUS cards and 3 of the Eagle and 3 of the Gaming OC, I believe. It is going to be a photo sweepstakes of sorts. You have to take a picture of yourself and submit it for a chance to win these goodies. So be sure, once again, check out the giveaway at aorus.com/RTX30 and click the sweepstakes button on the top. And then with that being said, I'm not sure on the exact end date of the giveaway, but be sure to do that as soon as you can. And we're also going to be giving away some AORUS peripherals, some of the other stuff too.
Some power supplies to power those new graphic cards.
Exactly. And then on the landing page too, guys, you'll be able to find a lot of information on what we just talked about, the max cover cooling. You'll also be able to see some more images of the AORUS cards as well, the Extreme and the Master. And be sure to be on the lookout for those, because those will be coming to the markets very soon.
We'll announce it on socials as well, so you can make sure to stay up to date on that and check out all our channels. And so another big question we had was availability. Should we?
Availability. So
more.
Availability. I would expect it's probably sold out already. Is what I'm guessing. If you're checking all the retailers. Right. We do expect the availability to improve week by week, and over the course of the next month, you should see a big influx
as production ramps up
of these.
It should ease the shortages that we're having right now. And in the coming weeks, it will be coming in every day pretty much, and every week, and it should get smoother over time. Hopefully, by the end of the year, everyone will have a card.
That's the hope. That is the hope. Well, and that about wraps it up for us. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the AORUS RTX 30 max cover cooling launch event. We're very glad to have you guys today. Thanks again, Andy, for sharing all your
insight,
all the insights and knowledge on the performance and design of these cards. Thank you guys for tuning in, and wherever you are, we hope you are keeping safe, and we will see you guys next time. Take care.
Take care.
See you.
All right. Bye.